Greetings, YouTube. For those of you who are watching this when the video hits, happy Saturday, happy weekend. I am so excited to record this video. Really, really, really excited. Because you see, I am someone who was not the biggest fan of the Valentine's Day event. Wasn't the biggest fan of the spring cleaning event. I think they both had their places. But they either were requiring people to spend too much money like the Valentine's Day event, and it felt like if you didn't whale out, you were already behind, particularly when it comes to just evolving your roster. And then spring cleaning, it was a favor in that it wasn't the biggest event in the world to miss, but it also didn't feel like it had the same level of excitement that it had in the past. And so I felt like that was probably because they wanted people to get more excited about this event, which we've never seen before. And I was very skeptical, given how many units it would cost, that it would be received universally well. And that skepticism was unfounded and wrong. And I think there's this perception that being wrong is a bad thing. That if you're smart and if you're wise enough, you will never be wrong. And I just got to tell y'all, if there is somebody out there who's never been wrong in their lives, I pity them. Because being wrong and realizing you're wrong and embracing and learning from why you're wrong is one of the greatest things about being alive. And if you're never wrong, then you don't get to learn what it's like to develop critical thinking or self-awareness, or any kind of evolution of opinion. And my man Chaos Penguin, I give him some problems every now and then. I have him essentially, I give him a hard time because the man just is not afraid to complain about the game. Sometimes I feel like he could be the real Mr. Negative. And so I've never really seen him absolutely just positively gush over an event. I've seen the opposite. I've seen him act like an event's the worst thing to ever happen to humanity. But this event's different. Chaos Penguin, even him, sent the following information into the channel. Can I just give the highest praise possible for the Omega Days event? When I saw that, I was like, what? Sure. Why? It's tons of useful and fun rewards for free-to-play players. It was just pure fun. Nothing that broke the game, but definitely nice rewards. I ended up with 600 units, solid rank-up materials, a few new 6 stars, and enough 7-star shards to open a new crystal. This is the kind of stuff that makes me want to keep playing the game. Amen. Yeah, I know the whales are going to have a field day. That's cool. I got a bunch of sweet loot for just playing the game without having to spend a dime. This is the best kind of event. The whales get to have their fun, and the free-to-play and lower-level spending players get some love too. This is the kind of event that motivates non-whales to spend a little cash on the game, like for a daily special or two. Chaos Penguin, that is so well said, and I think the most important thing to me, and probably I was going to say the title of this event was something like, I was happily wrong, and maybe I'll put that in like the thumbnail. But I do think the title of this event should be Free-to-Play Players Deserved This. Because free-to-play players have been systematically taken out of the game. Now, I've got to be objective and fair. You could get 900,000 poolies as a free-to-play player, which is the most that we could get from the spring cleaning / poolies event last month. And that should be highlighted and recognized. I shouldn't ignore that. That would make me a very bad YouTuber. But at the same time, there have just been so many events where if you don't whale out, especially last year between July 4th and Cyber Weekend, like that's why we lost a lot of great players last year who just didn't want to keep up. And Kabam, especially because last year in 2023 was the year that they brought us the website offers for the first time. They just wanted to milk the whales like never before. And people who could afford it like myself, especially with YouTube channels, did get milked, and our rosters are kind of insane compared to what they were a year ago. But for people who couldn't be milked, they know that they're behind because they're the ones that usually get roster matchups with things like myself in Battlegrounds. This is not that event that's going to give somebody 4 more rank 3s and not be able to compete. And I also think, as much as I love most of the champions in the Omega Days crystals, a 7-star Omega Red is not going to break your Battlegrounds roster, or even Longshot, or Corvus, or Quicksilver. So they chose champions that, they're not like it's 7-star Hercules, or even, I mean, I would still argue, this is my takeaway, and this is why some people view it as a hot take, but I don't care. This is the champion, when all the dust is settled, that's going to be the haves and the have-nots in this game. It's not an Omega Days champion. It's an early access bundle champion. This is the champion that really is going to change fates in Battlegrounds and Alliance War and elsewhere. This is the new Blade when there are magics out on defense. Because when you have her against Bullseye, Bullseye becomes a joke. If you don't have her, Bullseye is very annoying, and you'll take a ton of block damage even if you survive. So, free-to-play players deserve this. I was 1,000% wrong. And I love being wrong. I think that's a healthy perspective to have, and one that I get excited to talk about, especially when it's because an event was even better received and a better value than I thought on paper. Good job, Kabam. I loved making this video. Chaos Penguin, also thanks for being positive.